creating the Party Poison and Cobra Kid ray guns, you want to start with an outline and cut that out, and then you want to cut out the trigger hole. I'm starting with using used cardboard boxes and just using a box cutter to kind of like cut up the box into pieces. I'm starting with this big box and just cutting off the flaps, which I'm going to use later. So I'm now going to use an X-Acto knife and I'm going to tape on my outline that I cut it out originally and tape that onto my box. I'm going to trace and cut out the outline of the ray gun, and you want to make 4 of these each. So you want to cut out 4 outlines like this 4 times. Then you want to cut and make these little slits in the top right corner, and you want to make 2 of those. So and also don't forget to cut out your trigger hole and make sure to have like the actual trigger and like all that, so it actually kind of looks like a real ray gun. So you just want to cut that all out, and also be careful because I actually ended up like cutting myself. So you want to like poke the trigger hole out first, and then you can use your X-Acto knife to kind of easily cut out. If it's not cutting out, kind of like retrace and try and cut out more, but very gently kind of push your outline out to get that. So now you want to cut out these pieces that are right here. You want to make 2 of each. Now you want to find each of your outlines. You want to place all 4 on top of each other without having the top left cut out into pieces. And then you can just take regular Elmer's glue, press it together, and glue it all together. Make sure that when you're doing this that they line up and are kind of perfect. So you just want to do that with the 4 pieces. And then once that is dried, you want to take your other 2 pieces that have the design that makes it kind of look 3D, and you want to place that on opposite ends, so one on one side and one on the other side. And you can just glue that down too with Elmer's glue or whatever glue. I would prefer using this glue instead of like hot glue, but whatever you like. Just wait for that to dry. So these are the pieces that you wanted to cut out, 2 each, and you're just going to take your Elmer's glue and you're just going to line up the pieces to where they go. You want to make sure you do this before gluing down so that you have each piece in the right place. And then you can just use your Elmer's glue to put that down. Also doing like the circle around the trigger hole, just make sure that it lines up and looks okay like I'm doing right now, so that you know if you need to cut it more into a circle or you have to make it more thinner or thicker or whatever you have to do. But you also want to make sure that it works. You can also use your X-Acto knife or any type of like tool that you use to kind of help you place and move the pieces without really getting things onto your fingers. I ended up actually keeping another outline because I actually hand drawn the outline for this gun, so I ended up keeping like a picture of it so I could remember where the pieces are, so you don't forget and know how the pieces go. Because with this piece I ended up putting glue on the wrong side instead of actually putting glue on the right side, and as you can see I'm just using my X-Acto knife to like place it down. So now I'm just placing the rest of the pieces onto the ray gun. You also want to make sure they're not all too tight fitting because you are going to be painting this, and you want to just make sure that you aren't going to be leaving any like spots unpainted. So this is what it should look like, and I made 2 ray guns because I'm making 2. So we're going to take some Mod Podge and we're going to be putting it inside the holes, and we're going to be doing a little bit on the outside. So these are the colors I'm using for the party poison mask gun, and those are the colors that I'm using for the Cobra Kid ray gun. So these are the tools that I'm using. Just poured some Mod Podge out, and I'm just going to lightly take that and put a thin coat and layer onto the ray gun. I'm just doing this because I think that the paint would go on a little bit more smoother, and it just kind of adds a bit of a layer onto the gun. So also you just want to make sure that you do it thin and that it's very even, because if not, you're gonna have like little lumps on your gun and it's gonna look a little weird. But yeah, you kind of want more of a clear coating than a white coating. So now I'm gonna put it in there. Now this is where you want to really like clump it up and make sure there's a lot in the hole. You can use hot glue and just like kind of glue on the side, but Mod Podge is what I was going for. So now we're going to be painting. This is the party poison ray gun, so I'm going to be painting it all yellow. So you want to put a very thin coat yellow onto the gun, because you can always put more on. You just don't really want to layer it up, because the thinner the coat, the more quicker it will dry. So you'll be able to quickly like use a hair dryer to like quickly blow dry this, and then just put more and more layers on top for it to look a very darker and thicker yellow. Sorry. So also just be careful where you're putting the paint, because I know with the Cobra Kid gun, some of the parts have to be white. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure that most of the gun is yellow. So yeah. Now I'm going to be painting the little parts. And yeah. Also, you want to paint the like sides where the Mod Podge is yellow too. I do not show me painting that, but you do want to paint that, and it actually really isn't that hard to paint, and it actually is pretty easy. You'll just have to put a little bit of more thicker coats on and wait just a little bit, because there's nothing really soaking in the paint. So yeah. So these are what the two guns look like. This is the party poison gun, and then this is the Cobra Kid gun. As you can see, I did the same thing, it's just red. So now I'm going to use the white on the Cobra Kid, and I'm going to be painting the I don't know what this is called, and then the little ring around the trigger white. This was actually one of the most difficult parts, because I was trying not to get too much white so that it would like end up going onto the red, and having to put enough white on it so that you could not see the brown anymore. So now I'm putting the candy cane streaks, that's what I kind of like to call them, onto the gun. You just basically make that. You do it on both sides of the gun, but the one thing that is only on one side of the gun is the deluxe kind of signature looking thing. So now this side is going to be the side that has the 3 markings, as you can see, and then you put a marking right, 2 markings right there, and then 1 on the circle. That is a very tiny line. So now is the party poison ray gun. So now I'm just painting the top of the gun black to make it look like it's been used before, and that it kind of has already like shooting rays out of it. You don't have to do this, but I thought it would just be kind of fun, because what I had seen was mostly the gun looking like this instead of it really looking new and with the yellow top, and I think it just really adds some really cool detail to the gun that I like really think is cool and awesome. So just kind of like make the top darker and then kind of flick your brush out to make it not look so dark. So now I'm making the red streak across. This streak is what's going to have the I think what is Japanese writing on it, but you're only going to be putting the Japanese writing on one side. You can put it on both, but for what I did was I only put it on one side. So I ended up tracing the writing onto a piece of paper before actually trying to like paint it onto the red streak. So I made the party poison gun also has some streaks on it on one side. Well, there are actually streaks on both sides, but this is the side that I'm doing the Japanese writing on. And to be honest, this brush was like had a really like hard and clumped bristles, so it kind of was like writing with a pencil, so that came in real handy when needing to write out the Japanese letters. And honestly, it wasn't really that hard to make the Japanese letters. The only thing that I was really afraid of was that they would either be too big or too small, but I actually kind of made them the right size for it to all fit. So yeah, now I'm just going to finish up the letters, and pretty much the gun is done, besides the little pendant that is on the handle, which I will show you how to do. So that's the writing. So this is what I'm talking about. So there is a border around it that is black, and then you're going to be making a pill shaped drawing in the middle, or also do that little dash that's actually red on the party poison. So here's the pill, and then you're going to fill in half of it black, and then you're going to leave the rest of it red, and you're going to do that for both sides. So now here's where the deluxe comes in. Same thing with the writing. I actually found this even harder to do because it was in cursive, and to be honest, I can't even write in cursive, but I did the best I could, and I actually think it kind of came out pretty good. I ended up putting another coat on this, just tracing back over my words, because honestly it kind of looked a little like just not dark enough for it to like look like it's actually like printed and written on there. So there's the deluxe, and thanks for watching, and that's how you make the guns.